Hey YouTubers, so today MJ and I are going to do a really laid back discussion, basically a what if, I guess. You could call it a what if, it's more like a...
It is a what if.
Shut up. I don't like to do what... Okay, whatever. It's basically a what if, but it's mostly like, okay, we're going to basically walk through, could Bulma have solved...
Suck that.
Oh my god. Could Bulma have solved all the problems in Dragon Ball herself without Goku? And I think the answer is yes, MJ.
Yeah, I agree. I
Okay,
do think
that's
she can
it.
handle that.
That's it. Okay, I think that's the entire video. Anyway, guys, we're actually going to discuss this like from the very beginning of Dragon Ball up until the point where we feel like it really wouldn't, like, none of the antagonizing forces would really matter anymore.
Guys, we're going to cover this from Dragon Ball Episode 1 all the way to Dragon Ball Super Episode 81. So that's going to be Dragon Ball Z,
Oh my
Dragon
God.
Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super. This video is going to be pretty long, so make sure you clear your schedule for the next couple of weeks, okay?
It's not going to be that long. I don't necessarily
Ads
think. But
everywhere.
We'll ads. Okay, guys. So anyway, we are going to be talking about this. So starting off on Dragon Ball, obviously you have, let's just say, Goku turned into a Nazaru, killed Gohan, and then drowned in a nearby lake, I guess, because of no parental supervision, and left the force. That's terrible. Okay, so so no parental supervision. Didn't necessarily survive on his own.
No,
left the
that's
four-star
bad.
ball.
Why don't you just do this? Okay, that's bad, dude. Okay, so he turns into a Nazaru. Goku turns into a Nazaru. He goes all crazy. Grandpa Gohan, in a very emotional battle, has to cut off his son's tail. In the process, he kills Goku. Very emotional. He ends up keeping the ball. He runs into Bulma I don't know how long later, and over whoever knows what, but persuasion, he actually gives the 4-star ball to Bulma. There you go. Fucking Goku drowning in a lake. What's wrong with you?
I like the drowning in the lake part. No, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, have to kill his own son, grandson, whatever you want to call Goku and Gohan. Anyway, yeah, so Bulma comes a couple years later, figures out that there was this kid named Goku, was really powerful. Maybe he could have helped you, but that's not the world we're living in at this point. So yeah, like Gohan. Oh, and that's actually a good idea. So like Gohan's still alive. She has that connection with Gohan to actually have, to bring up later. So yeah, so she has, at this point, you have her have 3 Dragon Balls at the same time. Pilaf and his gang are looking for the Dragon Balls. Goku and Bulma basically going on the same situation. Theoretically, I don't remember everything that happened, but let's just say that because she didn't have that long extended kind of fight with Goku about whether or not she can have the ball and trying to convince him, then she doesn't really run into the Triceratops who tries to eat her, and Goku has to save her like that, kind of giving Bulma the benefit of the doubt that maybe whether any of this stuff could happen, she could actually kind of either get through it, or the time she would have saved by having not to talk to Goku might have kind of spared her from having to figure it out in the first place. So I think the very next thing is you have Turtle basically kind of wandering around. At that point, she didn't want to help Turtle. Goku was the one who wanted to help Turtle, and we knew who, like, actually bringing Turtle to the ocean allowed them to meet Roshi really quickly. Roshi, of course, had a Dragon Ball in order to give them. Gave it to her for flashing, which Bulma could really do. One of the things we should mention here is the fact that Bulma, other than the brute force strength that Goku provided her, kind of worked her way through these situations with her sexuality, her feminism, like her very feminine body, with people that she was dealing with, people like Roshi, people like Yamcha, and all those other ones that could probably be antagonizing in that sense. So without Turtle, obviously, because she probably would be kind of too uptight to actually help Turtle, to go out of her way to help Turtle. Where do you think she goes from there? Who do you think she runs into the next ball she's looking forward? And I don't think you and I remember exactly where all the Dragon Balls were through this, but we're just going to talk very generally. So what do you think happens right after that?
Doesn't she run into Oolong or no?
Yes, they definitely do run into Oolong. What are your thoughts on? Do you think she would have been able to get around Oolong? Do you think she would have figured out his plot and, I guess, kept him around for the most part?
If I remember correctly, I think she was actually willing to help the little girl, right? I think hearing the story about the girl wanting to get married, I think she kind of wanted to help, right? In that sense. So I think hearing that story, hearing about that little girl getting like rushed into marriage, this guy was basically going to kidnap her, right? This Oolong, the terrible, right? Mm-hmm. I think she would have stayed around to help, obviously also to get the Dragon Ball. So she would have met Oolong. She probably would have fell in love, same scenario. And Oolong would have ended up transforming, and then she would have ended up, probably, I don't know, kneeing him in the nuts, the good old knee in the nuts or something. I don't know.
she would have, I think Oolong would have really gone with her. I mean, he was bored about his life anyway. He was taking these wives and they were taking advantage of him. So
I guess so, but
I think he would have. I think, yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I think they would have actually gone together either way. Just the thought of, I guess, the thought of whatever the wish would bring or something. I mean, I can't necessarily remember how they got together, but I do know that he was kind of sick of his own life. He wanted to go with them, mostly because of Goku. But I feel like even Bulma, especially someone as attractive as Bulma in that world, Oolong probably wouldn't have been too afraid of actually being around that type of situation for a long time, getting away from all of the hustle and bustle and having to keep up the charade that it was. And plus, without Oolong, you don't have the connection between Oolong and Puar, which really hinged a lot on how Yamcha ended up getting, I guess, kind of becoming part of the group, and at the same time, the interactions between everyone involved. So they go from Oolong basically to Yamcha at the same time, like you said. Pilaf and the gang are looking for the Dragon Balls, but you have Oolong and Bulma going through the forest or the desert, run into Yamcha, who wants to burglarize them. Obviously, Yamcha can't talk to women, and without having to fight Goku, basically falls for Bulma in that situation. I would think it kind of plays out the exact same way. He still tries to burglarize them because they're with Oolong, and Oolong's the one with the car. Then Bulma still ends up in the bunny suit, and I think, yeah, like basically that's how that starts to play out. At the same time, he follows them. He wants to figure out. I feel like they do figure out what the Balls are for. They want to steal them. Eventually, they work together, and I think, long story short, with this arc, everyone still meets up, and eventually they still kind of have the one-on-one battle with Oolong or with the Pilaf gang. The one thing I can't explain out of all of this, and I just feel like it would have to work out one way or the other, is they get trapped in that little place that Goku ends up destroying. I don't know how they get out without Goku blasting a hole through the wall with the Kamehameha wave, and how they get out without him destroying the palace in the first place. But actually, before I miss something, what are your thoughts on Roshi? We need to have them meet the Ox King Roshi if they're gonna skip that with Turtle. What are your thoughts?
I feel like they're gonna have to run into Roshi one way or the other.
He had a Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he had a Dragon Ball, so they're gonna have to meet up with him sooner or later. The Ox King, though, you mentioned off air that I feel like Bulma would be able to single out that he's actually a good guy, because Bulma just kind of has that instinct, you know what I mean? We kind of see that later throughout the show. you know. So I feel like she'll be able to single out that he is kind of like a little big bear, if you want to kind of put that in there.
Yeah.
So I feel like just in mutual conversation or just kind of talking with them. With Roshi though, I feel like she'll probably have to meet him sooner or later. I don't know how to put it in words or how to theorize it, bro, because I just feel like maybe meeting, maybe possibly passing Fire Mountain, or just going through the mountains, because I do know Oolong, if I remember correctly, is the one that mentions Fire Mountain, right, when they're passing through the woods or passing through the mountain area. I feel like he's the one that mentions it, and they want to go by it, right? Or they want to go past it or something. Or
there's a Dragon Ball. There's a Dragon Ball there. Or no, I think I can't remember if there's a Dragon Ball there or if Ox King has it, and that's like that's his thing. Like he'll give it to them if they could take out the fire. Okay. It's been so long, but yeah, like it's the deal they come up with, and then they go back and get Roshi because obviously Goku owes Goku, but mentioning back to what you were talking about before, I think I got it. So what basically happens is, because the Pilaf gang wasn't really formidable to its own right, they weren't necessarily getting the Dragon Balls. They basically got the Dragon Balls because Bulma and all of them got the Dragon Balls. So because of this, because they don't know Roshi, they don't have an instant out for this. Perhaps one of the things that Bulma does in order to kind of sway or get, I guess, kind of the blessing from the Ox King is, considering the fact that she doesn't like Yamcha anymore, and would become somewhat of an interesting kind of plot dynamic going into the future, is because she doesn't like Yamcha anymore and because he's still following and everything, what if Yamcha still has that kind of first interaction with Chi-Chi, and Bulma and Bulma and Oolong are basically still in the go to the Ox King, and they promise, like, you have a daughter, she wants to get married, and they promise Chi-Chi Yamcha. Like they promise him a brother. Like she wants a husband. She wants, like, that's the whole interaction they have when she first meets Goku. So what if she promises, like, there's just this understanding that Yamcha's gonna be her husband in the future, and it would be an interesting dynamic, considering the fact that Bulma she thinks she's going to get her wish. She thinks she's going to do one thing or another, and then she ends up falling for Yamcha. She doesn't get her wish for one reason or another, and it becomes kind of a power play dynamic between her and Chi-Chi going into the future of the series. But regardless, so you have Ox King talking about, okay, well, I need you to take out this fire. You can get the Dragon Ball. And because she made the deal and she knows Gohan, that's another tangible connection they have together. So with that situation, they go see Gohan, and Gohan's like, well, Master Roshi has the Kamehameha wave that could probably take that out. Maybe you should go see him. And then when they go see Master Roshi, because they've wasted so much time doing all of this, Krillin's already there training with Master Roshi. In fact, make it even better, a little bit more succinct, you have Krillin out. He leaves Master Roshi's place looking for a woman and instantly finds Bulma, who's going to the same place. So it doubles up that way. Instead of having launch, you have Bulma and Krillin going. Obviously, they get Roshi's Dragon Ball because she flashes them. You get the Ox King's Dragon Ball because Roshi goes and takes care of the situation for another promise, and then eventually they do make their way to Pilaf Gang and all that other stuff. And whatever happens, Oolong wishes for panties. Whatever. I don't necessarily know the reason why that would happen. But then we were talking about this a little off air. So after that, you have the 21st tournament. You have, theoretically, you have Roshi versus Krillin in the finals. Interesting fight, but not nearly as long or complicated. Roshi doesn't blow up the moon, which doesn't really create a big enough issue for anything going into the future that we've planned out. Then Bulma, having had her wish, not needing the Dragon Balls. Goku doesn't go out looking for the 4-star ball. You have a vacuum in terms of the plot. What are your thoughts after that? You got to get into Pilaf and the Red Ribbon Army.
Well, either way, Pilaf's getting screwed for the second time. I mean, in the canon version, I hate that word, and in our version, he's getting screwed. So, plus it has to lead into the later arc. But yeah, in this version, he is getting screwed. Also because that has to do with Commander Red getting the Dragon Balls, because they were looking for the Dragon Balls. And remember, it was because Goku was the one looking for the Dragon Balls. That would lead to the whole Red Ribbon Army arc in the first place. You know what I mean? And this...
well, it does, and it doesn't. Like, it's what leads to the craziness of the arc.
Yeah, that's true. I figured it would just go the same way as it did in the anime and the manga, and that it would be... what was his name? It's General Silver, right? General Silver is the one who finds them, takes them out, and he reports back. It's a bit weird because without Goku, the way things play out is that all the commanders and all the generals that Goku took out, they're all going to be in play, right? So
yeah. Oh no, and even Tao isn't even taken out either.
So Pilaf gets taken out. He'll get taken out pretty quickly, just like how he did in the anime and the manga. And they get the Dragon Balls, and then they get Pilaf's Dragon Ball, and then they keep on the hunt. They're looking for the Dragon Balls. And Red's wish, for you guys have to remember, Commander's Red's wish was so he can be taller. And I feel like either way, Red, when they get the Dragon Balls, whenever they get them and make the wish, he will get taken out by Black, whether it's Black or whoever else is under him, because the wish is stupid, you know what I mean? They thought they were looking for the Dragon Balls for world domination, so when he makes that wish to be taller, he's ultimately getting taken out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And so you have basically, Black takes over, but at the same time, you don't, like you said, you don't create that power vacuum for the Yamcha understands. I'm pretty sure Yamcha is one of the people who understands just how formidable the Red Ribbon Army is, how far-reaching it is, and how intense it is. And it's kind of treated as a joke with Goku basically going in and wiping out the entire army by himself, but you still don't have that. So at the same time, imagine what leaving all that aside allows for the series to do. It allows for Dr. Gero, even though he's kind of a retcon person anyway, and I want to say Frapp, but I don't want to get that wrong.
I can't remember his name. I'm pretty sure that's it, or that's at least a dub version, I think. Yeah,
so you have that doctor as well. The two doctors who work on the androids, they're still alive. Better yet, MJ even mentioned going into this kind of discussing this was not only are they still alive, but Dr. Gero is not pissed at Goku because Goku doesn't kill 16's inspiration, his son. So you have two doctors who probably have a semblance of world domination, but maybe aren't as mad or crazy as they were or portrayed to be. Two doctors who have the ability to create very strong androids, and we'll get to that. So, after all that plays out, Bulma doesn't really have a stake in that fight. Goku's gone. Commander Black takes over the Red Ribbon Army and completely changes it, although they still don't have very good technology in order to look for the Dragon Balls. Because Bulma didn't have a stake in the fight, they don't know about her Dragon Ball radar, and Pilaf gets screwed over yet again, which leads to him kind of bringing out Piccolo Daimao, who eventually grabs all the Dragon Balls for himself, uses the wish to wish for youth, and then kills Shenron. Because Goku is not in this fight, because Goku is not necessarily in this fight, he has no reason to meet Kami or Korin or anybody. But at the same time, you have probably Yamcha and Krillin still training with Roshi. You definitely have the Crane Hermit School, Chaozu and Tien still training, along with Mercenary Tao and I guess, all of the Red Ribbon Army with all of their generals and stuff still intact. But Piccolo,
get in here real quick. Do we assume that maybe there's like a correlation between the martial arts schools, like maybe Crane, maybe even the Turtle, and maybe even the anime version of the what's his name, King Choppa's school? Maybe they kind of like all the martial arts schools get together, and maybe like Roshi kind of does like his one last stand. Maybe Roshi says that since he's the one who knows the Mafuba, he'll go stand against Piccolo on his own. Like this, do you think maybe something like that happens, or do you think they all just kind of like do their own separate thing, and everyone kind of just keeps training and stays away from Piccolo?
No, I feel like they definitely do fight. I think they fight, but they don't win. I think Goku was so much stronger than them at that point. After training with Kami and all that, like he's so, or I mean, after training and doing the sacred water, is so much stronger than everyone else. Jirobe and everyone else, that he, like, no one could stand up to Piccolo Daimao. And I believe that's the point. Like, obviously Piccolo Daimao in this, it's kind of a much darker story, but I definitely think that he would kind of easily, him and his children, you probably still have, because they don't have like world domination or anything. Red didn't wish for anything really specific, and they lost all the Dragon Balls. They couldn't get them quick enough because of their technology. You would still have the 22nd world tournament, in which probably Ten Shinhan would win, but they would be given a good fight by Krillin and Yamcha. And then Piccolo Daimao shows up, probably. I mean, the one thing, like, do they kill Krillin? Like,
I mean, it's hard to say, because when you're talking about these characters, you mentioned the whole Dr. Gero, right? How this Gero is a different Gero from Z. Well, all these characters, with the exception of a few, are completely different characters from what we know in Dragon Ball. Like, Roshi would be the same character, but as far as power, he would be different. I think also like Yamcha and Krillin, while they might be the same character wise, their motivation would also be a bit different, because Goku wouldn't be there to push them. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't even be as strong as they would. I think even in the manga, and I'm pretty sure this is specifically stated, Chun, when he fights that bear in the preliminary rounds of the 22nd Budokai, Yamcha goes, "Oh, so Chun's actually polished his skills." I figured. So they're saying Chun is actually even stronger than what he was in the 21st tournament. So if Chun never fought Goku in the 21st tournament, and he beat Krillin easily in the 21st, in our hypothetical what if scenario, he would have never have had to train for the 22nd one for his hypothetical rematch with Goku. So these characters are a lot weaker. They don't have the motivation. So if they're having to fight Piccolo Daimao, who is, I'm assuming, just as strong, and his tambourine and his cymbal and his drum, they're just as strong, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to see some casualties. Like if Ten Shinhan and Yamcha run into them, or if they run into them, yeah, they're probably going to die.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons they shouldn't kind of gang up. Or, I mean, I obviously doing the best they could, fighting together would probably be the best thing they should do. But Roshi dying, maybe Shen dying, or not Shen, but
I feel like Shen might. I mean, I can't remember in the
Tao dies.
In the
Tao
Jap version, I can't remember what they say in the subtitle version, but I know in the dub version, Roshi makes a statement about how Shen knows exactly how dangerous Daimao is. So Shen might change. His mood and his character might change once he sees that big green dude standing in front of him. So who knows if he would have even like teamed up with Tao, or we could have saw like some Crane team ups with the Turtles if against Piccolo Diamond. Who knows how things would have turned out. I think we could have probably seen a similar scenario where Roshi told Bulma, Oolong Poir, Krillin, and Yamcha stay here. Or maybe he sneaks out one night, like at night, in order to save his friends, and he does the one turtle stand, where he goes by himself with the Mafuba technique, where he's just by himself and tries to do it, where he takes out Piccolo by himself. Maybe, who knows?
Mm-hmm. But like, I think it's so obviously I think you and I agree that Roshi's dying in this scenario. Roshi's dying in this scenario. It's I guess kind of up in the air whether Tenshinhan or Chaozu would die. Whether up in the air whether I think Krillin's dead the same way. And you got left with like what, Yamcha. Just theoretically, you got Yamcha left, and maybe Tao and like a couple other people. But in the resistance area, because you kind of have the same resistance, and like we said, that power dynamic between the people who want to conquer the earth versus Piccolo Daimao is, you have, the Red Ribbon Army versus Piccolo Daimao ends up destroying the entire army, focuses the hatred that Garo fostered for Goku for so long on Piccolo Daimao, completely changing the dynamic. And perhaps, just maybe, considering it's like, okay, we can't beat him with brawn, maybe we beat him with brains. So you have those doctors with Dr. Briefs and Bulma working together to advance the android technology they later use in Dragon Ball Z in order to fight everybody, or in order to fight Goku, specifically aimed at Piccolo Daimao. So then you have someone like, and just theoretically throwing it up there, it could be whoever you want, because there's no way, like MJ said, there's no way to decide like who would be so different and how situations would be so different as to determine who or who wouldn't be alive in any given situation, other than basically Roshi, because Roshi's the one who knew the Mafuba technique. So you have Bulma and all these other people working around the clock to perfect the android technology, or the cyber humans, or whatever, cyborg technology, to make someone like Yamcha or Krillin or Tenshinhan or Chaozu one of the best fighters on Earth. Chaozu, one of the better fighters on Earth. Give them that kind of unlimited energy, that durable body, and all that other stuff in order to fight Piccolo Daimao. And if you use kind of the same power creep that they used for the Dragon Ball Z era, where, considering the fact that Garo only understood the strength of the Saiyans, and then for whatever reason, decided to make androids stronger than Frieza, because it made no sense. It makes very little sense, but considering they used that much strength, or they implemented that much strength, using that same power creep, even if they just make someone like, Krillin, Chaozu, Yamcha, or Tenshinhan, even if they give them like power levels of like 30,000, which is astronomical versus anyone that we've actually seen, then that person, considering all those minds working together in that scenario, would be strong enough to take on Daimao, Raditz, and Vegeta and Nappa. And considering there's no Dragon Balls on Universe 7 or Universe 7's Earth at this point, because of Piccolo Daimao, you've essentially, and no one's strong enough or even cunning enough to awaken Majin Buu, because no power struggles, no nothing like that. You've solved the entire series of Dragon Ball without Goku at that point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
because no Saiyans means no Super Saiyan God. Beerus doesn't get his Beerus doesn't go to Earth because there's no Saiyans there.
Yeah.
No Dragon Ball, really. Goku, like Bulma could have done all this by herself.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like we said in the beginning of the video, man, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of an interesting discussion, honestly. So, guys, tell us what you think about that. Do you think that makes any sense? Do you think we overlooked a whole lot of information? I think we're not incredibly thorough, but it was kind of a fun discussion. MJ, do you have anything left to say?
No.
Okay, cool. Anyway, guys, I hope that if you have stayed this long, I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to catch you on the next video. Please make sure to go check out MJ. Makes some really awesome content for you guys every single day. So if you like daily content, he's the guy to go look at. Guys, please make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, share this video out to your friends if you enjoyed it. And we're going to catch you on the next video. Bye.